My name is Holly Purtell. I am the first recipient of the $1 Million Teacher Project Award. I was very shocked and honored and surprised and humbled. It was a check for $1,000. It was a really big, beautiful check. And I was able to pay off my student loans with that. I had $1,000 left to pay off, so it worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
And a gift basket with a lot of wonderful, amazing donations from community sponsors of $1 Million Teacher Project. There were baseball tickets, a botanical garden membership. What else? There were so many things. Well, the award basket was really overwhelming. There were so many goodies in it, and it was really geared towards families because it wouldn't be just like one ticket to a baseball game, it'd be 4 tickets to a baseball game. And honestly, right now, my son is grown and moved out of the house, and it's just me. And I felt it was kind of a waste to give presents that were geared more towards families, just a little old me. So I had this idea. I'm part of a new committee at Maryvale High School, which is our PBIS committee. It stands for Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports. I could remember all the meanings for each letter. And so the idea of that is to recognize students when they're they're exhibiting behaviors that we want, and to encourage rewarding students. And if you do that enough, then the hope is that you'll see less of the behaviors that you'd rather not see. So PBIS needed some support, some financial support to get it started. And so I had this idea of using some of the gift basket gifts as prizes for teachers in 4 tax credit drives that we had. So in Arizona, the tax credit can be used towards groups in high school or grade school. You could donate $200 if you're single, or $400 if you're married, to the organization of your choice at any public school. And so we had these 4 tax credit drives, using the gifts as promotional tools to promote the drive. It was very difficult to use those funds. We raised over $2,000 in that fund, and we thought that we could buy prizes for students, gift cards, maybe computers. And what we encountered was, no, you can't. It was very difficult. There's a lot of challenges to use that. Some of the parameters are that you have to make sure multiple students are using the finances. It has to be tied into curriculum. It can't be a one-time computer or gift like that. So things like field trips or hiring guest speakers to come in to speak to students may some of the time may be something that would be approved to have that funding be used for. And so I started to brainstorm using those parameters of things that we could do with that money to help out Maryvale students and get some cool things happening there for them. Well, I tried to spend the money twice on 2 different events. One was Violins of Hope. Violins of Hope is an organization that has restored violins from the Holocaust that were owned by Holocaust survivors. and they bring the violins into different schools and play them and tell the story of the violins, as each of them has a story of a Holocaust survivor. And their purpose is to teach tolerance and to teach history. And Violins of Hope came to Maryvale and did a wonderful presentation, and they would not take any of our money because I guess they're nonprofit, or they already had it set up to where it would have been free for us. So that was the first attempt or brainstorm idea I had to try to spend that money. The second attempt was to have a guest speaker come in and speak to our Maryvale students. The juniors are doing a capstone project on the American Dream, whether the American Dream is attainable or not. And one of my students asked me if I could get his American Dream hero to come into Maryvale, and that was Henry Cejudo, who is an Olympic gold medalist, and he is also a former student at from Maryvale High School. And so I asked around, are there any teachers that were at Maryvale when Henry was a student? And we did have his coach's wife is still a science teacher at Maryvale, and she was the one who connected us. And Henry Cejudo came and spoke to our students, the juniors doing the American Dream capstone, and he told them to set a dream and to be willing to make sacrifices for that dream, and then you will achieve it. And he asked students to come up to the stage and to share their dreams, and many of them were so emotionally touched by the presentation that some of them even broke into tears. And so it was a very touching, moving, relevant assembly. And also Henry Cejudo would not take any of that $2,000 that we raised. So once again, failure, but it's yet success. So it's a good problem to have, is to have this little nest egg and eventually be able to spend it. All right, so right now, the third attempt is if you walk down the halls of Maryvale, we have halls are enclosed. This is to protect students from the elements. So it's kind of hot here in Phoenix, Arizona, but now those hallways look like tunnels and they're a little dark, and the kids call them basic. That's their word, basic. So it was an idea to invite a street artist to come into Maryvale and to connect with the curriculum of our art department, and to basically create a Hall of Heroes. What Hall of Heroes is going to be is it is going to be faces and depictions and quotes from people who were former students of Maryvale High School and who are leaders in our community now and who have demonstrated success, like Henry Cejudo and his brother Angel. We hope that they'll be our first faces to grace the halls of Maryvale's Hall of Heroes. And then we have, more plans to add more heroes. Again, we're reaching out to our community artists to help us with that, and it ties in with the students' art curriculum, and they'll be a part of it. So it'll be a wonderful way to connect to Maryvale students and to inspire them to dream and sacrifice and to achieve.